Will be clear tomorrow night as we drop down to 71. Back up to 99 with sunshine on your Thursday, 100 on Friday with sunshine, and 99 on Saturday with sunny skies. I'm Tim Livingston from the KFNX Weather Bug Weather Center.
Currently in downtown Phoenix, it's 85 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Your nest egg, how big is it going to be? Will it be ready to use when the time comes? Wouldn't it be great if there was a way to put a guarantee on your nest egg when retirement enters the picture? At AZRC, we can help you do that. We're the experts at helping prepare your nest egg for guaranteed retirement plans, giving you peace of mind and financial independence. Our knowledge, combined with modern retirement design technology, makes it easier than ever to plan for a safe, secure retirement. See what Arizona Retirement Company can do for your nest egg today. Call 480-524-0508. We'll always audit your accounts for free to help keep you on track. And if you call right now, AZRC will take $200 off any MRD retirement or estate plan. Call AZRC now at 480-524-0508. That's 480-524-0508. AZRC. We do the math.
Do you think the air inside your home is cleaner than the air outside? Think again. Hi, I'm Jonathan Waterworth, owner and operator of AZ Healthy Home. Contact AZ Healthy Home today to set up your healthy home inspection. Let us help you eliminate indoor pollutants that can trigger allergies and respiratory problems. Don't wait. Cleaner air in your home is just a call away at 480-471-0111. That's 480-471-0111. Or find more info at azhealthyhome.com.
There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Welcome to the Reality Check. Your humble host, Ben Shannerman, here with you every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. So, first off, we have to start out by saying our prayers for Las Vegas, everybody, family and friends that are affected by the tragedy that happened. And between the dead and the injured, 600. But if you think about the families, the loved ones of everybody who has to suffer, the not knowing, when your friend has sleep deprivation because they just can't sleep comfortably because of what they saw or how close something came to them. I mean, the families affected, the people affected, you're talking almost near 10,000 in general. There's a lot of questions we need to ask about Las Vegas and the shooter, Stephen Paddock. I mean, why wasn't security tighter? How did he smuggle 23 weapons into a hotel room past security? I know they can't check every bag, but somebody's got to say, here's a guy by himself. Wow, how does he have so much baggage? I mean, they knew who he was. He was a gambler and a regular. He wasn't like a band member or, where did he get all the weapons? I mean, you hear about he bought this legally, he bought that legally, but at the end of the day, there's only been, so far to our knowledge, 2 or 3 gun dealers that said he bought one gun. So that's like 3, and this guy already has over 40 between the hotel room and one household. Was he on medication? Always when we have shooting situations or attacks like that, a lot of times, you find out that this person's on medication. That's usually, a common factor of the majority of them. Not all, but how did his girlfriend, who just got wired $100,000, she was ruled out yesterday. Now, all of a sudden tonight, she's a suspect again. I mean, they have to be talking there and find out what's going on. I am sure she knows something. There's no way between the brother and the girlfriend, nobody knows anything. This guy lived a normal life, didn't do anything on it. Nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anything. I mean, how do you not know? The brother who goes to his house seems surprised that he had one gun, much less over 40 guns. just strange. What happened to multiple witnesses stated there was a couple, a lady in general with a guy, Hispanic couple, that said, "You're going to die tonight." Where's the follow-up on that? I know it's going to be hard to track them down, but there's got to be, who are these people and what did they know? Was it just a freak coincidence, or are they people that knew something? Was the shooter radicalized? I know they've already ruled it out. In 10 seconds in, it's ruled out. But you really don't. There has to be some type of reason. Whether it's a simple reason like that or medication, there has to be something. That's what people are trying to wrap themselves around. That's what we want to hear as a public. What's the reason? It's almost like a missing person kind of thing where somebody's missing and, it's years later, they're not coming back. Something bad happened to them. You just want to know what happened. You want to be able to never close it, but never not have that feeling. But you just want to be able to, compartmentalize and then maybe move on. There's also, when these things happen with so much, like with Twitter and Facebook and all the media that you can listen in on scanner reports if you go online, like live scanner. It's amazing what you can hear. And then you get these reports, like always conflicting reports, like San Bernardino, how many shooters were there, and other events across America that, just like this one in Vegas, there was conflicting reports on how many shooters were there. In Las Vegas, they said there was another suspect on the 4th floor, a white male with a gray backpack firing at multiple hotels. That was what was from one police report. Officers went down a hallway, and they were approaching the 32nd floor, but they were still down on the 29th, and they thought that there was another shooter there possibly. It's hard to say, because for the average person, just a traumatic event, and you you think something, and it just doesn't register, because those things are like, I've never been in a live active shooting, thank God, but I can imagine, it's close I could come to imagining that, how fast things must be going. In a traumatic event, like a car crash or anything like that, just how fast things are going. It's like, when you're in that moment, it feels like forever when you're about to get hit, but then when it's done, it's like, boom, what just happened? Oh my gosh, it's, your senses are almost overwhelmed. You don't really know what happened. So, there was also reports of, there was somebody by McCarran Airport. There were people running around over there, running away, and you have people running away in every direction. At one point, one of the citizens reported seeing an older man in fatigues with a black bag enter an RV and was, disappeared. The lucky, if they're obviously not a good situation, but the lucky thing is in Vegas, at least they have cameras on almost everything. So in time, they'll know, they'll see what happened outside the hotel room. But another thing, how did Paddock, you can, okay, he put cameras in his room, but how did he get cameras in the hallway? I heard a service car, many other things. How did he get cameras out in those areas and nobody saw? I know you're minding your business in a hotel when you go down the hallway, but you see a camera there, or you see some guy putting up a camera. I don't know. And then if he put a camera up there, what type of camera could it have been? Was it an Arlo? Because then he would have needed to have a base for it. So plugged into this guy, it must have had computers to run that stuff off of. You'll find out a lot of stuff that's going to be crazy. But the one theory we know that we can throw away no matter what is that he snapped. Because people that snap, they don't think that much out. They don't plan. There were also reports that he tried to rent a hotel room the week before that was supposed to be close to another concert, and he just couldn't get the right room. So he was obviously up to no good. That's what we do now. Now, who's involved with it? That's what we'll find out, I'm sure. Hopefully we have a good, clean investigation. And the best part of them sharing information as soon as it's verified is It relieves the public of it. You feel like it's a more honest investigation. The thing that people are always like, well, you're wanting to believe this and you're wanting to believe that, and you just want it to fit this narrative. It's not that. When you have something like this happen or any crime happen, when immediately they're telling you who it isn't, you have a problem, because investigators just investigate and they look at the facts and they follow them to the logical conclusion. They don't start off the bat and saying, well, we know it's not this person. Well, we know it's not that person. I mean, if that was the way investigators worked, you know how many people would have easily gotten away with killing a spouse, because what happens? Well, I wasn't anywhere near the state. Well, yeah, they hired somebody else. So you always have to look at the logical facts, and that's what all investigations should be about, not what we see already. We know it's not this person, and we know it's not that group of people. Like, we're not worried about that. Just let the facts go where they may, and tell us what's going on, as you know, when it's confirmed. And the media they can back off. If I was watching a press conference just yesterday, and just the barrage of the media it's just a police officer, they're just going on about this guy. Just ask this: did he change his underwear? Did he put his left hand before his right hand? Was he unlucky? This and that. It's like, they're not going to know for a while. They're like, we don't know yet. Well, what if this happened? And what if that? And what if he tripped and the gun's accidentally? Like, dude, relax. It'll all come out in the investigation. They're telling you what they know. If there's something you need clarity, yeah, feel free. Ask that question. That's not a problem for anybody. That's your job as a reporter. But to come up with some cockamamie scenarios of stuff that woulda, shoulda, could have maybe happened, they'll let you know when it's that time, It's just silly. It's silly. I'm Ben Shannerman, host of the Reality Check, and when we return, we'll talk about birthdays. If you want to reach out to me through email, it's therealitycheck@usa.com. And
Rain will be clear tomorrow night as we drop down to 71. Back up to 99 with sunshine on your Thursday, 100 on Friday with sunshine, and 99 on Saturday with sunny skies. I'm Tim Livingston from the KFNX Weather Bug Weather Center.
Currently in downtown Phoenix, it's 85 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Your nest egg, how big is it going to be? Will it be ready to use when the time comes? Wouldn't it be great if there was a way to put a guarantee on your nest egg when retirement enters the picture? At AZRC, we can help you do that. We're the experts at helping prepare your nest egg for guaranteed retirement plans, giving you peace of mind and financial independence. Our knowledge, combined with modern retirement design technology, makes it easier than ever to plan for a safe, secure retirement. See what Arizona Retirement Company can do for your nest egg today. Call 480-524-0508. We'll always audit your accounts for free to help keep you on track. And if you call right now, AZRC will take $200 off any MRD retirement or estate plan. Call AZRC now at 480-524-0508. That's 480-524-0508. AZRC. We do the math.
Do you think the air inside your home is cleaner than the air outside? Think again. Hi, I'm Jonathan Waterworth, owner and operator of AZ Healthy Home. Contact AZ Healthy Home today to set up your healthy home inspection. Let us help you eliminate indoor pollutants that can trigger allergies and respiratory problems. Don't wait. Cleaner air in your home is just a call away at 480-471-0111. That's 480-471-0111. Or find more info at azhealthyhome.com.
There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
welcome to the Reality Check. Your humble host, Ben Shannerman, here with you every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. So, first off, we have to start out by saying our prayers for Las Vegas, everybody, family and friends that are affected by the tragedy that happened. And between the dead and the injured, 600. But if you think about the families, the loved ones of everybody who has to suffer, the not knowing, when your friend has sleep deprivation because they just can't sleep comfortably because of what they saw or how close something came to them. I mean, the families affected, the people affected, you're talking almost near 10,000 in general. There's a lot of questions we need to ask about Las Vegas and the shooter, Stephen Paddock. I mean,
101referralnetwork.com.
You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to outer space. Please stand by.
Welcome back to the Reality Check. Your host, Ben Shannon, here with you every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. So last segment, of course, we talked about Las Vegas, and we offer our condolences and our prayers for everybody struggling and hurt. Some things I can't believe, like there was a moment of silence the other day, and two representatives, Catherine Clark and Seth Moulton, shockingly, both from Massachusetts, and more shockingly, both Democrats, walked out in the middle of the moment of silence. They couldn't care less. It was for the Las Vegas shooting victims' moment of silence. I know they're the same people that probably kneel at the Pledge of Allegiance. Disgraceful. I don't know. I mean, some people, you just got to have some class. Even if you're not happy with something, you're protesting something. I mean, there's times and places. Like I explain these things to my kids, There are times and places you do stuff. You just sometimes got to let things go for the better of other people, man. Have some respect. So, Rod Serling, The Twilight Zone, premiered. It was their birthday yesterday, October 2nd, 1959. And over the course of the 5-year run, and it seemed like a lot more, they had 156 episodes of The Twilight Zone and cemented itself as the classic of science fiction television. Influenced many TV shows, movies. They even tried to redo it. So that was a nice birthday on October 2nd. Today, we'll say happy birthday to my son, Andrew, and I hope he's having a great day and hopefully has a great year in the BHC. That's Bullhead City, for those of you who don't know, the last town in Arizona before you hop over to Laughlin, Nevada. We also have another happy birthday later on this week to my wife, Veronica. Friday, October 6th is her birthday. We met January 5th, 2007. I hope this is the best year yet for you, Veronica. I love you. I don't know. I can go on and on about my wife. I won't. But she makes me nice cookies. I'm sure she'll be happy to hear that's what I said. We can talk about, there are a bunch of ingrates this week. Now that the birthday part of our show was the happy part. There are a bunch of ingrates this week. What about the old librarian there who was too cool to accept books from Melania Trump, right? Elementary school librarian in what state was it? Yep, you guessed it, Massachusetts. They're our winner today. Usually it's California and New York, but today Massachusetts is coming to the forefront. So, a school librarian in Massachusetts rejected a donation made by our First Lady, Melania Trump. So they were picking out to give 10 books to one library, school library in each state, 10 free books, Dr. Seuss. And of course, this school, they have such a great library, they didn't need them. So, if that's the case, donate them to somebody else, say no, thank you. But nope. This lady had to go on and talk about how Dr. Seuss is cliche and it's an embarrassment and that it's racist. Good old Dr. Seuss. Nobody is safe anymore. But at the end of the day, you see, this Cambridge Elementary School librarian didn't realize that she wasn't authorized to accept or reject donated books on behalf of the school or the school district. So at the end of the day, this, I can't say those words out loud, but she got counseled for her poor behavior. So maybe before she criticizes Dr. Seuss about his racist books and Melania Trump for sending them to her, maybe she should learn what her job function is and isn't. Another great story of somebody who cares more about making herself known and less about anything else. Speaking of people who like to make themselves known, there's a mayor in Puerto Rico, San Juan, Carmen Yulin Cruz, another hero of the left. You know, if you don't know something about Puerto Rico, yes, they had, obviously they're a country, you know, an American territory, highly in debt. And one of the things is that for Puerto Rico, they had a very old electrical grid, which has totally been destroyed, obviously could not withstand a hit like this. And one of the things, you know, is that right before the hurricanes, and something, you don't even hear it in the news, but I know, a lot of their truck drivers went on strike. So what does that mean? Well, when food started, not only that, but a few of their ports were damaged. So when donations and food and everything was coming in and we were trying to get that going, what happened? Well, there were really no ports for the ships to go. And then there also was a lack of truck drivers. So when they did get the product in, it really couldn't get distributed. You know, think about how hard it is to convince somebody from the States to come, go down to Puerto Rico, to go on roads that you're not familiar with. There's not much help in the way of anything, and some roads are covered and totally destroyed, and you're supposed to navigate around that. And it was because, like I said, a lot of the truck drivers there were on strike, and then a lot of the police officers actually didn't come back to work after the hurricane. They were staying with their families, and, you know, somewhat understandable, but somewhat of course, you know, you have to help. You have to chip in. I mean, you saw in Texas, you saw in Florida, even in Louisiana back in the day. You got to help your community and chip in. And that's, you know, unfortunately, I was a little bit slow. It's coming there. It's getting there. But the good old friend of the left, Mayor Carmen Yulin Cruz, you know, here she is talking about help us, we're dying. So what does she do? She goes out and makes a T-shirt up. Help us, we're dying. So she had time to get T-shirts printed, which you figure if people are barely surviving and no food, how does she have time? How does she have a place to even get them made and time to get her shirt made? Help us, we're dying. I have time to print up T-shirts. And then she's sitting there talking about how we're starving to death. Instead of looking behind her, there's pallets of food, and she's not helping getting any of that distributed. And why can't she get that distributed? Well, she's motorboating around Puerto Rico, shaking people's hands, bringing a camera crew around, and not using the boat to actually give food to people and give supplies that are needed to people. No, she's too busy with camera ops. And, of course, her buddies over here love it. It's crazy. I was actually watching somebody try to explain to a liberal there aren't enough ports to get all the stuff in. It's sitting there. And they're like, well, if Trump lifts the Jones Act, the other ships can go in there. And the guy's like, and what would they do? There's no ports for them to go to. Most of them have been destroyed at this part of time. And they're like, well, but more ships can come in and they can load the supplies. And the guy's like, but there's no ports for them to go in. They're just going as fast as they can. There aren't very many ports open. What are they going to do? And there's just a constant like, well, we can get more ships there. But that's not what the problem was. The problem was is there's no place for the ships to unload. I mean, sometimes you just, I don't know. It's like you can't even argue. It's like arguing with a 5-year-old. I mean, for them, you understand a 5-year-old because they're young. They don't know yet. They don't know better. But when you're with an adult and they act like a 5-year-old and you're trying to explain this stuff to them, I don't know. What can you do? Really, you got to crack yourself in the head and move on? I don't know. But the best part about San Juan Mayor Carmen Yulin Cruz is there was a Puerto Rican parade in New York a while back, and Obama pardoned Mr. Oscar Lopez Rivera. He was sentenced to 35 years in prison for his involvement of the FALN, a Puerto Rican separatist group that was responsible for more than 100 bombings in the U.S. during the 70s and 80s. So here's a murderer. He killed many cops. And, of course, Obama let him go free. I mean, that's typical. I mean, that's his legacy as a president. How many cop killers can I set free? But away from the Obama and his junk, back to Carmen Yulin Cruz, that's her hero. She said, this is a guy we need. That is her hero. That's the type of trash that she supports. And this is a hero of the left? Oh, my bad. I should have noticed, because she likes cop killers and they like cop killers. So what else should I expect? I guess I am wrong. Remember, the Teamster union drivers didn't show up to work. Only 20% of them were working. So how did you expect supplies to get delivered? Get off your butt, stop doing interviews, and make something happen. I'm Ben Shannerman, host of the Reality Check. And when we come back, of course, we'll have a nice, exciting segment with the preview to the UFC 216.
Rain will be clear tomorrow night as we drop down to 71. Back up to 99 with sunshine on your Thursday, 100 on Friday with sunshine, and 99 on Saturday with sunny skies. I'm Tim Livingston from the KFNX Weather Bug Weather Center.
Currently in downtown Phoenix, it's 85 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Your nest egg, how big is it going to be? Will it be ready to use when the time comes? Wouldn't it be great if there was a way to put a guarantee on your nest egg when retirement enters the picture? At AZRC, we can help you do that. We're the experts at helping prepare your nest egg for guaranteed retirement plans, giving you peace of mind and financial independence. Our knowledge, combined with modern retirement design technology, makes it easier than ever to plan for a safe, secure retirement. See what Arizona Retirement Company can do for your nest egg today. Call 480-524-0508. We'll always audit your accounts for free to help keep you on track. And if you call right now, AZRC will take $200 off any MRD retirement or estate plan. Call AZRC now at 480-524-0508. That's 480-524-0508. AZRC. We do the math.
Do you think the air inside your home is cleaner than the air outside? Think again. Hi, I'm Jonathan Waterworth, owner and operator of AZ Healthy Home. Contact AZ Healthy Home today to set up your healthy home inspection. Let us help you eliminate indoor pollutants that can trigger allergies and respiratory problems. Don't wait. Cleaner air in your home is just a call away at 480-471-0111. That's 480-471-0111. Or find more info at azhealthyhome.com.
There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Welcome to the Reality Check. Your humble host, Ben Shannerman, here with you every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. So, first off, we have to start out by saying our prayers for Las Vegas, everybody, family and friends that are affected by the tragedy that happened. And between the dead and the injured, 600. But if you think about the families, the loved ones of everybody who has to suffer, the not knowing, when your friend has sleep deprivation because they just can't sleep comfortably because of what they saw or how close something came to them. I mean, the families affected, the people affected, you're talking almost near 10,000 in general. There's a lot of questions we need to ask about Las Vegas and the shooter, Stephen Paddock. I mean,
weekend and the annual Blackout Game. Bring the entire family to the game. Wear black and help black out the Huskies. Get your tickets by texting Forks Up to 480-965-5812. text Forks Up to 480-965-5812.
Hello, this is Adrian Hendricks.
And Jerry Hendricks of Say One More Now, Incorporated.
Please join us every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Stand by for your daily act of civil disobedience. You're listening to Joe Walsh.
I was on MSNBC this morning, and I got into a little tussle with a liberal because I said, to me, Trump is like our first citizen president. The guy's a regular guy. He talks like Jimmy down the street.
This is the Joe Walsh Show.
Joe Walsh, nights at 7 p.m. Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Matchmaker Communications 101 presents The Young Reporters. When you're on The Young Reporters, be prepared to talk about things you never expected. Amazing young reporters with amazing guests. So join us in the classroom every Saturday, 6 a.m.
You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to outer space. Please stand by.
Welcome back to the Reality Check. Ben Shannerman, your host, here with you on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. If you just joined us, we covered everything from Las Vegas to Puerto Rico. So, rumor has it, Anthony Johnson planning to return to the UFC UFC 216 preview time. Time to talk about some fun stuff. Now, before I get into that, I have to say, this weekend I was watching, they had the best European mixed martial artists. They had a show on it. And they said Conor McGregor was better than Bas Rutten. Come on, man. You got really? McGregor's 21-3, and he could have easily been 20-4, losing 2 of his last 3. Because sorry, if you want to say he beat Diaz, I don't think so the second time, but whichever. Gift. The dude has no tank whatsoever. He proved that in boxing. He proves that in mixed martial arts. Bas Rutten was 28-4-1. The dude did not lose the last 10 years of his career. He didn't lose a fight. This guy was the king of pancrase, Bas Rutten, a UFC heavyweight champ. He was losing a fight. I remember one of the first fights he had in the UFC, he was losing a fight to Yoshi Kasaka. They called him TK. I should have just stuck with that. And this guy, it was an overtime period they had at the time. One of the most amazing comebacks. He did what we cheer for every time we're watching the UFC. We want to see fighters just, you know what, you're losing, just walk to the guy and either get knocked out or knock him out. And most fighters never do that. They know they're down on a scorecard. They know they're going to lose, and they never do that. They just sit there like something miracle is going to happen. And Bas Rutten exactly did that in this fight. He walked up, walked this guy down who was beating him. He was winning on every scorecard, and Bas Rutten just started unloading on the guy. And the guy hit him, almost knocked Bas out, and Bas just knocked him out in an overtime round, like with a minute left. One of the awesome comeback. I mean, it was just going for the win. That's what we want to see. And of course, Bas Rutten, to top it off, not only a great MMA career, but he was the host of Punk Payback, which was an awesome show. If you've never seen that, there weren't many episodes, but it was just quite hilarious. I mean, Bas Rutten would have destroyed Conor McGregor. He'd probably still beat him now. That's I'm sorry, that's embarrassing. I couldn't let that one go. So for UFC preview 216, we have lightweight. Start out the pay-per-view card with lightweight. Benel Dariush against Evan Dunham. Now, Benel is 12th. Evan Dunham is 14th ranked. Dariush, he fights smart and fast. He's 14-3, 2-2 though in his last 4 fights. He lost to Edwin Barbosa and Mike Chile. I always mess up that name, but the guy who just got beat down by Kevin Lee. Let's just say that. And Dunham, good striker, and the kid has really good heart. 17-6. He's won 4 in a row. His last loss was to Edwin Barboza. So, both of these guys are at that level where they're at. 12-14, which suits them. To me, I think it's a full 3-round fight. done him by decision. Dariush just, he doesn't beat people. He consistently struggles when he fights a name, as you see in his last 2 fights. Anybody that didn't go well. Next up, we have women's flyweight bout between the promotional newcomers, Andrea Lee and Kalindra Faria. That was supposed to be a late addition to the card, and then it was announced, though. Andrea Lee, who is a KFL champ, couldn't fight. She had to be pulled from the contest because she hadn't been in the USDA, their testing pool, for 6 months. And usually the short notice fights don't need that, but with her, she's failed once before for what she said was diuretic. So now Faria will fight Maria Romero Barella. So Kalindra Faria and Maria Romero Barella. Kalindra Faria has won 3 in a row. Nice mix of power and speed from the clips that I've seen of her. Mara Romero Barella is 11-4, won no contest. Pretty much takedowns, ground game. She's stepping up on short notice. She's undefeated in her last 5 with 1 no contest. But I still see it as Kalindra Faria, second round TKO. For Barella to come in on a short camp, she'll just be a step or 2 slow, and that's what's going to get her caught. Next bout, very interesting. Heavyweights. Fabricio Verdum and Derek Lewis. Now, Verdum, 21-7-1. We know about his ground game. Where he runs into problems is when he tries to box with guys. You saw that same thing that happened to him with Stipe. He tried to box, and he got caught. He was reaching. He's lost 2 of his last 3 fights. Even though he just fought over, it was a pretty close fight, a loss. Could have went either way. Verdum is one of the top heavyweights of all time. We got to give him his credit there. Since Verdum beat Cain Velasquez to unify the title, he seemed strange. I remember, when he came out, they had those masks of him in Brazil, and he was just so antsy, and he just acted weird. Then he had a fight with somebody's corner person. Then even this week, at one of the UFC pre-fight events, he almost got in a fight with Tony Ferguson. Derek Lewis, 18-5. Lewis won 6 of his last 7, but he did lose his last fight to Mark Hunt. If Lewis could pull it off, it'd be his biggest name that he's won, beat. If Verdum waits it out and doesn't box, I think things will go his way. If Verdum reaches like he did against Stipe, Lewis will put him out. So I have to think Verdum knows better. Winning this gets him 1 step closer to that title. I'd say Fabricio by a 3rd round TKO. Next up, UFC Flyweight Championship bout between our current champion, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, and Ray Borg. And if this sounds like a replay, we could have cut it out from another show that we had because they were supposed to fight in the last UFC, 215. However, the fight was canceled the day before the event because Borg was forced to withdraw due to an illness. His illness was unrelated to his weight cut, sources say. Yeah, I wouldn't trust those sources, right? Because Ray Borg is nothing but missing weight. His illness is himself. If this title defense is successful for Johnson, he'll become the UFC fighter with the most consecutive title defenses in any division, with a total of 11. Demetrius Johnson's 26-2-1, Ray Borg 11-2. Demetrius Johnson is speed, conditioning, technique. Ray Borg is grappling. Borg he's been impressive in some of his fights, but he has no impressive wins. What I'm saying is against tougher competition, he's not been there. Ray Borg is talented, but I just don't see any way he could win this. He would love to take Mighty Mouse down, but I don't see how he catches him. Borg's not going to outstrike Mighty Mouse. The only type of person I think that's going to beat Mighty Mouse is the hard puncher. And Borg's not that guy. So I see Johnson TKO round number 2. Now, main event. Lightweight, Tony Ferguson is 23-3 versus Kevin Lee, who is ranked number 7 in division. He's 16-2. Ferguson, he's wrestling, boxing, conditioning, and very unorthodox movement. He's creative with his strikes. He just does things. You're like, what does he do? Oh my God. Wow, that worked. And the guy's won 9 in a row in different ways too, not just submissions or hard punching and whatnot. He's won in many different ways. And Kevin Lee, he's a boxer and a wrestler. He's won 5 in a row. The last 3 that Kevin Lee's won actually have been rear naked choke. Kevin Lee is getting better each fight. And I think one day this guy might be a champ. Just not now. I mean, Tony is more seasoned. He's gone 5 rounds. He's just that much more creative. And by the time I think Lee's going to start to kind of figure out Ferguson, he'll start to slow down. And Ferguson wins, 5th round TKO. The one disadvantage I have with my prognostications is I almost can't say a fight's going to go to a decision because I don't want to see decisions, I don't know. Every once in a while they're okay, but then you get to the point of where you have a decision and then they mess it up and then it just ruins the goodness you've seen, It's like you get this Sunday, it looks really nice, and you scoop into it and there's mold on your spoon or something. You're like, what just happened here? You're listening to the Reality Check with your host, Ben Shannerman. We will come back for one more segment where we talk about a variety of things, like our weekly Brian West hasn't been arrested update.
Rain will be clear tomorrow night as we drop down to 71. Back up to 99 with sunshine on your Thursday, 100 on Friday with sunshine, and 99 on Saturday with sunny skies. I'm Tim Livingston from the KFNX Weather Bug Weather Center.
Currently in downtown Phoenix, it's 85 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Your nest egg, how big is it going to be? Will it be ready to use when the time comes? Wouldn't it be great if there was a way to put a guarantee on your nest egg when retirement enters the picture? At AZRC, we can help you do that. We're the experts at helping prepare your nest egg for guaranteed retirement plans, giving you peace of mind and financial independence. Our knowledge, combined with modern retirement design technology, makes it easier than ever to plan for a safe, secure retirement. See what Arizona Retirement Company can do for your nest egg today. Call 480-524-0508. We'll always audit your accounts for free to help keep you on track. And if you call right now, AZRC will take $200 off any MRD retirement or estate plan. Call AZRC now at 480-524-0508. That's 480-524-0508. AZRC. We do the math.
Do you think the air inside your home is cleaner than the air outside? Think again. Hi, I'm Jonathan Waterworth, owner and operator of AZ Healthy Home. Contact AZ Healthy Home today to set up your healthy home inspection. Let us help you eliminate indoor pollutants that can trigger allergies and respiratory problems. Don't wait. Cleaner air in your home is just a call away at 480-471-0111. That's 480-471-0111. Or find more info at azhealthyhome.com.
There is a 5th dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Welcome to the Reality Check. Your humble host, Ben Shannerman, here with you every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. So, first off, we have to start out by saying our prayers for Las Vegas, everybody, family and friends that are affected by the tragedy that happened. And between the dead and the injured, 600. But if you think about the families, the loved ones of everybody who has to suffer, the not knowing, when your friend has sleep deprivation because they just can't sleep comfortably because of what they saw or how close something came to them. I mean, the families affected, the people affected, you're talking almost near 10,000 in general. There's a lot of questions we need to ask about Las Vegas and the shooter, Stephen Paddock. I mean,
Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to outer space. Please stand by.
welcome back to the Reality Check. Your host, Ben Shenneman, here with you every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. So if you missed the last segment, you missed our preview of UFC 216, which I know that you'll be disappointed, but I will not be watching live because I will be at Monster Jam, watching monster trucks flip in the air and do awesome things. So, Jimmy Kimmel, everyone heard his babbling. I mean, you got to go back to Crankinker, seriously. The rest of the stuff, you're just ruining your career as far as I'm concerned. Here's a guy talking about gun laws and you need to do this and Republicans ought to be ashamed of themselves and vote this and that. And I am for measures of some change in gun laws. I always have been. They're common sense laws we should have. That being said, here's a guy who goes on TV and babbles and cries and this and that. And you notice how he's changed from the comedian for the past few months now. Oh, my kids and woe is me and this is what. And what happens? Here's a guy who's surrounded by guns all day. And what did he do? He got a threat from somebody, not even a physical threat. Somebody said, you look ugly or something like that. And this guy hires another 10 guys with guns. He's just like the Hillary Clinton. Somebody talking to you about guns and how you should control guns. And all she is surrounded by guns. I mean, unbelievable. Have your bodyguards drop their guns, get rid of them for a week, and come talk to somebody else. I mean, seriously, have them. Then you can come talk to us. Otherwise, it's just nonsense. Because that's what these people know is going to happen. They're special. They won't get in trouble for having guns or having people protect them with guns. And you and I, the regular citizens, as we're getting our heads capped off, oh, well, too bad for you. Oh, well, one less decrease the surplus population, right? In other great news, and this has to be a joke, I mean, Representative Maxine Toilet Waters was recognized as the Woman of the Year during the Congressional Black Caucus. Woman and of the Year. In the same sentence for Maxine Waters, unless you were using her as a poster child for the non-Woman of the Year, there should never be that said. There was a runner, marathon runner, in Slovakia who let it all hang out. He didn't want to lose the marathon. Unfortunately, what was hanging out was the schmeckle, and that's not a good idea. I don't even know if this guy knew that a schmeckle was hanging out the last part of the race. Here's an interesting blog I was reading. It's called Brother Bob's Blog. So it goes like this. When my president lied to me and claimed 4 of my comrades were murdered because of a video insulting Muslims, I didn't take a knee. When my president shipped pallets of cash to a sworn enemy, I didn't take a knee. When my president failed to identify Muslims as terrorists and Islam as an enemy of the state, I didn't take a knee. When my president claimed that a man who tried to kill another man who lawfully defended himself could be his son, I didn't take a knee. When my president defended a thug who bum-rushed a law enforcement officer, I didn't take a knee. When my president ordered businesses to spend unnecessary funds to appease a minority of people who need mental intervention far more than they need their own toilet, I didn't take a knee. When my president ordered the words "one nation under God" be removed from the Pledge of Allegiance, I didn't take a knee. When my president lied to me and said I could not keep my doctor and my premium, or he said that I could keep my doctors and my premiums would go down, I didn't take a knee. When my president spent my tax dollars in foreign lands to interfere in their elections, like he did in Israel, I didn't take a knee. While my president sat by passively and enabled ISIS to emerge as a stronger force dedicated to spreading Islamic ideals by committing murder, rape, and torture, I didn't take a knee. When my president allowed dictators and murderers to violate his red lines and continue to murder women and children with chemical gas, I didn't take a knee. When my president chastised law enforcement for the actions but ignored the violence in our streets, I didn't take a knee. When my president identified the weather as the greatest threat to American safety while Muslims worldwide are murdering innocent people, I didn't take a knee. While my president's insistence that pacifism and reform in numerous areas of the globe would bring peace, but instead lead to the strengthening of those who seek to destroy us, I didn't take a knee. When the election of my president broke barriers never thought possible in America, ended up being the high point of his 8 years in office, I didn't take a knee. In all that time, I never disrespected our country, our armed forces, our veterans, or our nation. I remained vigilant, and I got a new president. That pretty much sums that up. I mean, look at the NFL, how they've tried to change it. They know they're losing business, and they've tried to change what they're doing. Like you see Ford from the Detroit Lions, she actually bought off half our team by saying she would donate money and donate charity if they stopped this stuff. And then you still see a few of the Cleveland there with the hands up. You know, it would have been nice to see some of those people in Vegas the other night, to see them, and I'm not wishing any bad, I'm just saying, to see them try to rush up and do what the officers did there. You know, here it is, you got people that surround themselves by guns, surround themselves with bodyguards, have not much real contact with the real world and how it is, constantly telling us how it is and how we should be and how things aren't right. Yet they don't face any of these things. It's just kind of like people that talk about slavery like they're owed something, but they had nothing to do with it. I mean, like me as a Jew talking about the Holocaust. Now, I had many family members that were killed in the Holocaust, but that had nothing to do with me. I can't claim anything to that, nor do I feel like I should be paid anything for that. If you want to stop some of the problems, are there bad cops? There are bad cops everywhere. But if you do your research, you'll see that more white people are shot by police every year than black people are shot by police. I mean, it's a fact. You can argue all you want. You can say this and that, but that's the numbers. And not saying this one was right, this one right. Yeah, you can argue any one you want. There are times where police act wrong. Absolutely. Just like in any aspect or any job, you'll see there are people that are good, there are people that are bad. But it just makes no sense. You're throwing people into one category when you say you don't want to be thrown in one category. I think the roots of the problem are, and it's something we'll talk on another show, is single parent. It's just almost impossible for single parents to succeed in the world today with so many sponges of society trying to suck up your kid. And we'll definitely expand on that on another show. We can't let an episode ever go by without mentioning Brian West, the NBC news guy who stood by while a statue got defaced. We're still waiting for the Phoenix police. And I know they were busy tonight because they had to protect our vice president on the way out, Mike Pence, who was just here today. But when are Phoenix police going to get back and get some results on Brian West? When will he or somebody in NBC not only be arrested, but made an example for their vandalism? You know, can someone let us know about that? It would be nice. There was two people that were just trash. Everybody knows there was a teacher, and hopefully somebody could recognize her because she deleted her Twitter account. But she said in Las Vegas that she hoped that all the Trump tards died. And then she was only topped by Haley Geffman Gold, who was the senior counsel for strategic transactions at CBS, probably making, over $1 million a year? And a lawyer at that. And this moron was dumb enough, even if you think that this is what you want to say, being a lawyer, you'd think you'd be at least smart enough to know that maybe I shouldn't say that anywhere in public. And you got to know that your social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you're doing there, an email, that's public. I'm Ben Shannerman, host of the Reality Check, coming to you from Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. Until next week, on Tuesday at 9 p.m., enjoy.